Welcome to the I Need More Caffeine podcast, doing business as the Caffeinated Podcast.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, I'm Bubsy. He is the beard. This is the show where positivity is the goal, but chaos is our process.
Yeah, and Bubsy and I both are suffering from a severe lack of caffeine today. So pardon the slurps, the sips, the whatever you hear. We're running a little close to empty, but it's time to get down to business.
Well, do we want to, I guess, talk just about what's going on in life or not?
Well, you know, we always tell everybody we're just going to be as real as we can be. It's been a rough week, if I'm going to be honest about it. I found out, and I'm not going to mention any names. I'm not going to do that because ultimately it's not my story to tell. But I found out somebody that I thought was a friend may not have been as good a friend as I thought. And I'm just going to say it the way that I felt it. It just kind of took the wind out of my sails, y'all. I've been a little bit too much in my head this week. Been a little bit too much in my hurt feelings this week. So we are here today to let you know that it's going to be all right. Today is a different day than yesterday, and tomorrow will be an even better day than today. So that's my theory, and that's what I'm working on. So what about you, Bubs? How's your week been?
I have been busy. And not like the normal type of busy, like obviously if no one knows, we don't do this full time. Obviously, I think that's a dream for any person who does some online thing, is to be able to do that full time at some point. But I have a job and we have been swamped. I've been looking at reports, whatever, so much so that my eyes have just begun to cross right about the time I'm like getting close to getting off, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Whew. But this weekend I'm also having to work, which is kind of abnormal just because of changes that are happening within the business. I'm not going to go into explaining a whole lot of it, but things are changing, things are being pushed together from different systems, and the weekend that we record this on, because we try to get these up fresh and early for you on Monday, for your ride
as
to
early
work.
as we can, as long as the formats, the platforms, the whatever you call it, as long as they cooperate, we try really hard. So
Yeah,
sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah. So we've been really busy this week. This is probably the only time that I will have this weekend to record. So this is what we have for you.
Yeah. And news flash. In case y'all haven't noticed yet, it's allergy season.
Also,
it's killing me, y'all.
Also, for once, you might not hear sniffles during this podcast. Hopefully.
Yes, somebody who shall remain nameless.
Hi.
Well, not nameless. Bought me a new microphone, so when I breathe through my nose, unless I do it really, really hard, which because it's a big nose, a lot of wind, all I'm saying, you won't hear the as much. So,
well, hey, now the microphones,
we're trying it out. We're going to see what it's going to do.
Hey, the microphones match now, and it wasn't like I put myself under some financial crisis to pull it off. I know. So I already put money apart to
For some reason, he thinks I should succeed at this, and I'm not sure why.
Hey, we're in this together. But you guys may have noticed that I've not been posting like YouTubes or TikToks. That's due to just being really busy with work right now. Once everything starts to get back to normalcy, things will come back and I will be posting again.
Hopefully that'll start for him after this weekend, you guys. He has been literally just covered up and covered up and covered up. And, you know, it's, how do we say this? It's life, right? It's life. And sometimes life out there will interfere with what we really want to do. And that's just unfortunate. But so before we go too much further, Bubsy, I guess we probably should give them the breakdown and then just let the conversation go. What do you think?
Okay, well, I just have one very, very serious question. Am I dropping the beat? Am I dropping the beat and you giving the lyrics, or
Huh?
you said we're giving them a breakdown? Like,
Well, it's not break dancing. I can't do that. So, you
well,
know, if
I
if
mean,
I
you
was to try
can.
to beatbox, it would probably sound more like shoebox.
I mean, you
But
can break dance. You would try to dance and something would break.
well,
That's break
I would
dancing.
break everything. Yeah, I need an EMT and a record to get up out of the floor. But you know, so let's do
Oh,
this.
Let's
I
do
believe
it.
I should have looked this up, but I did not. But there was, I think it was ABC, and I think they still do it. They did a program, a series of them actually, called "What Would You Do?"
oh, I see where you got this.
And that's the title of today's podcast because some of the things that happened this week, some of the things that I have seen online and different things got me thinking about this. And then I saw a video of what would you do? It's just one of the flashes of their program. So what we want to do today is we're going to throw some stuff out there. And again, for those of you that have watched the podcast, for those of you that have listened to the podcast, you guys are flipping amazing. I mean, between the YouTube and the audio platforms, we are up to 800 plays, if not more at this point. So you guys have just blown it out of the water and we appreciate it. And with any time that we ask questions, we want to hear from you, you know, and again, I'll just say it. I want to hear from your friends. So if you listen to it, like it, share it. If you watch it, like it, share it. We want to hear all the answers that you guys have and to see if what you come up with compared to what we come up with. So here's what we're going to do today. The title is What Would You Do? And we kind of broke it down into 5 little categories. And the first one is if you saw, for example, someone in trouble. Doesn't matter who it is, friend, cop, stranger. I don't know. Could be the neighbor's pet raccoon. I don't know.
The Pope.
Or the second one is if you heard, say you heard a rumor or you heard a secret, or maybe it's a truth. And the reason I put truth in there is because sometimes hearing the truth, it's not always the best time to share it immediately. There's timing involved. Or, you know, because the truth without love is just used as a weapon, my opinion. I had to throw that out there.
Are we going to talk about time theory again?
Possibly. You never can tell with us. You know, chaos is the process, right? Excuse me. If you knew, you know, like if you knew someone who hurt you or lied to you, needed your help, you know, something bad was going to happen. If you knew, what would you do? Right. And then, of course, I threw this if you found someone's wallet or if you found information on someone or if you just, I don't know, whatever it is you found. And then I threw this one in just to see where we would go with it. You know, what would you do if you chose wrong? Where do we go from there? What do we do if we choose incorrectly? So that's kind of it. Then now we're just going to let the rabbits run.
Okay, I'm just the way you said that. The only thing that popped in my head, especially with number 5, was what would you do for a Klondike bar?
There's not much I would do for a Klondike bar, but I would do some sketchy stuff for a cup of coffee. I'm just saying.
Oh.
He's like, no, he didn't want to say that. All right. So let's jump into it, Bubsy. Let's just pick an example. What would you do if you saw a stranger in trouble? And this is for everybody out there. Please, we do want to hear from you on this. So what would you do if you saw a stranger in trouble? And it doesn't have to be major trouble. It could be, what about a stranger with a flat tire? Or it could be whatever. What would you do if you saw a stranger in trouble?
I just realized like the weight of this question. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like I'm not a very timely person. Let's put it that way. Like I like to be on time, but I have a difficult time of being on time, so I'm late for a lot of things. So most of the time, like if I'm running somewhere, and I'm like trying to get there on time, that is the only goal. Something happens, the goal still remains. You know what I mean? I'd
I got
say,
you.
yeah, like if I'm not doing nothing, like heck yeah, we're gonna solve this. We're gonna figure it out. But if I'm
I
like,
got you.
if I like have to be somewhere, I'm sorry, but I may not help you change a tire.
Well, we've got to kind of look at it this way, guys. And again, I don't want this one to get too awfully deep. It has the potential, but I also want it to be a little bit of fun. So, have you ever helped anybody in trouble just out of the blue? Got a phone call, somebody says, I need you, or whatever.
Yes.
Okay. So, do you think that timing has a lot to do with it, or
I mean,
maybe more so the context of the situation?
time theory.
If you see what I'm going at,
Time theory.
he wants to talk about time theory.
Oh
again.
my gosh, I love it. Yes,
He
timing.
needs a time machine, is what he's trying to say.
Oh,
So he can get up in 3 minutes before work. He can get there 10 minutes early.
gosh.
But
Yes, timing is
here's
very
what I'm getting
important.
at.
I think for everything, to be honest.
Sure. Do you think it? And we're just talking about if you saw, and the reason that I put police officer, cop, whatever you want to call them in there, and I know people have some, how do I say this? Interesting names for law enforcement officers these days, which I don't necessarily agree with, because even though the names that some people in social media are using for police officers, there might be some that fit that title. Not every police officers I've ever met fit those titles. That's all I'm going to say about that.
there's
So-
a reason stereotypes sometimes get a bad name, and that's because not everyone fits that.
That's right. That's right. So here's me. What would you do if you saw a police officer in trouble? Say, for example, you stopped at the local Minute Mart, whatever you want to call it, to get a drink. Somebody was being loud and obnoxious. And I'm just assuming, because again, you're going by what you can see in the moment, right? So what would you do if you saw this police officer wrestling with somebody and it was obvious that he needed help, but what would you do?
Oh, I'm jumping in, bro. Or if he's like,
Uh-huh.
if he dude's like standing above the dude, can of dog food right off the dome. That's all I'm saying. All right, back at the corner. Whack. All right. I used to play outfield. Like, I will throw a ball at some dude's head. It's gonna knock you
I
out,
like it.
brother.
Now, and I have to throw this in here because I put this if you saw. And again, this was one of the reasons that got me thinking about this particular topic. I was watching a video of an elderly gentleman, not sure where it came from. And of course, when I went back to get it, it was not there, or I couldn't find it again.
So I think
But a
that's how
group
it
of
always
individuals had pulled this elderly gentleman out of his vehicle and were kicking him and hitting him and stomping him. And the problem that I had was nobody was trying to help the gentleman. Nobody was trying to stop these individuals. But everybody, for those that you can see this on camera, you're going to see this. For those that are not, I'm holding up my phone. Everybody was doing this.
World Star! World
Right.
Star!
Right? They were more interested in the video. Well, just dropped my phone. More interested in the video than they were in any of the individuals involved.
Nobody was living in the moment. They were living about the moment, basically.
Yeah, I mean, and I get it. You want to be TikTok famous, go for it. Right? But if we put everything else above our own humanity, this is what got me into this. Because I have, for those of you that might be hearing this one for the first time, I spent 14 years in law enforcement. I worked corrections. And, granted, some of that time was I went to other places because for those of you that are thinking about getting in law enforcement, it does not pay well. You're not getting into it for a paycheck. I promise you that.
Yeah.
So, but all total about 14 years in corrections. And if we give up our humanity for a video or for 15 minutes of fame, what would you do? What would you do if you saw someone in trouble? Would you just film and stand back? I mean, granted, any situation that we're going to come up with here, all right, any scenario that we come up with tonight, if you get involved, Is there a chance of you getting hurt? Yep.
I mean, there's a chance of you getting hurt in any type of way in any situation you get in.
Right? No, I mean, yeah, that's the whole point. But if we don't get involved in the world around us, I get it. I quit watching the news because I don't want to be involved in the world around me.
And then I get my news on Twitter.
To that point. But on the individual basis, I believe with everything that's in me, you all, I believe it with all my heart, that one human being can change the world. One human being can start a revolution, because what would you do if you saw? All right. What would you do if you were sitting at a restaurant and you saw some guy drop something into some girl's drink and she didn't? What would you do?
Oh,
what do you think, Bubs? Would we sit there and just go, oh, that's so terrible, I hope she notices?
No, that glass is going into that man's head.
Right. I mean, we have to, if we don't get involved when we see the situation, what are we going to do? I mean, what kind of world can we expect to have?
Well, I mean, right? I also think it's been proven that even just one person can change the world. You know what I mean? Like, you have people like, what was it? Gandhi, Martin Luther King. You want to talk about any, like, you got to understand, names are remembered. Like, you have people like Napoleon, things in history, like one person makes all the difference. And then they're like, and that you may not be remembered as far as like history and you're talked about in every history class or whatever, but anybody you help or any person that notices you're part of their history, they will remember you or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Well, and the thing about it is, if we see, and this goes for any situation that we have tonight, I think, if we don't get involved when we know we should, nobody will remember us. But I have a feeling we'll always remember that. Right? The shoulda, coulda, wouldas, as they call them, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, because if we don't get involved, nothing will ever change. People will always feel like they can get away with whatever. And it may not be, if you want to, what would you do if you're driving through your neighborhood and you saw your 95-year-old neighbor out trying to mow his lawn in 98-degree weather? Right? I mean, there's all kinds of situations where one little decision to help can change everything. Right, Bubs?
Yeah, of course. I think we're just experiencing some weird time lag, time theory.
Are we having a little issue with the stuff?
Yeah, we're having a little issue with Discord. So I do apologize about that, my friends.
Yeah, for anybody that hears it, we apologize. It might just be a bad connection, or it might be getting ready to storm outside for all we know.
We'd love to, at some point, we hope to get the podcast in one room, but at the moment we can't. So we do have to deal with the power of technology, so we do apologize.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, you're saying like we'll remember if we don't help. I think people still get, people are still caught up at night, not being able to sleep, remembering something stupid they did when they were like 5. Sometimes. Like,
I agree.
So imagine like if it was world shattering and you didn't step in. Bro, the regret, just the regret, keep you awake for days.
And again, I know this one's going to be a little bit more serious than the last few ones we've done, but it's overwhelming to me sometimes, because again, I'm not mentioning any names, I'm not mentioning any stories, but like I said, I had a friend that just kind of threw me emotionally under the bus this week. And there's a part of me that goes, how did I miss? What didn't I see? Well, what was I not paying attention? Or did I see it and just, for whatever reason, decide not to do something? So there's an issue there where we disconnect, because like Bubsy said, when I asked him about the flat tire, he says, well, if I'm running late for work or something, it does. I think sometimes a lot of it depends on timing. But when we get involved, things change, and as you can probably tell already, we're already talking about the 5th thing on our list. If you choose wrong, where do we go from there? That one's going to be intermingled through all these situations. It has to be. because you know, if you make the right choice, then it's obvious the right choice because you're going to walk away feeling like, you know, Superman, that you're 10 foot tall and bulletproof.
Well, I don't think you
Right.
can. I don't think you can talk about choices at all without, like, if you want to say, oh, this is what I would do. You know, you always have to talk about what the opposite of that would be. To even like at
Yeah.
any point, like it's not something we can just save and say, oh, if I saw a flat tire, I would stop. Okay, what would you do if you didn't though?
Exactly.
Or what are your
Exactly.
excuses for not
You know, I
taking
have
action?
I have a perfect example for that. What would you do if your wife calls you and her and your son are out in the car and it's raining cats and dogs and everybody's stepping in poodles? Ha ha ha, made a joke. Thank you very much. But you only have one car. You can't get there. I know he's hanging his head because of the joke. I love it. Anyway.
Like I like
So what would you
jokes,
do?
man.
So what would you do? I called a friend.
I'd walk
This friend that had something to
500
do
miles.
within less than 2 hours of what was going on. And he goes out and he makes sure that they're safe because I can't get there. He stands in the rain with the umbrella when another total stranger who saw that this mother and her child were broke down on the side of the road come and tried to did everything he could, lay down in running water underneath the vehicle to get the
Wait.
belt on it. What would you do? Right? See, these two gentlemen are a prime example of thinking about somebody over their own comfort, thinking about somebody over their own self. And if you don't think that changed the wife and the boys' world that day, then I don't know, because they were stranded and then they weren't.
I have a question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Just to make sure I'm thinking, because I'm assuming you're talking about something that happened to me and Mom, obviously.
Absolutely.
Was this the time when I was like first learning to drive and the belt popped off and we had power steering and I didn't know what to do?
No, I'm not sure where, but this was when Pastor and the guy that lived on the corner came, Pastor stood out there with you all, was all this stuff. It was on a Wednesday. That's
Yeah,
I think you were still too.
I was learning how to drive.
Oh, okay. Maybe that was it, because it was pouring the rain. That's all I remember.
Yeah, no, it's pouring the rain. I'm learning how to drive, and all of a sudden the car just starts sputtering. And she's like, "Okay, we need to pull over." I start to try to turn the wheel, and obviously this is like I'm just learning how to drive. This is, I'm new to all this, and I try to turn the wheel, and it goes nowhere. And I'm like, "Okay, here we go." And then we finally get it to stop, and we just happened to be outside, like we were in a residential area, and this guy comes out, he goes, "Can I help you?" And I'm like, "Well, the car
has lost its mind."
Yeah, but plus it was one of those like weird, it was like a really weird belt system or something.
It was a really weird belt system. But the thing is we had two guys involved in this. One that called and I asked for a favor. I asked for help.
Yeah.
But he still had a choice to make. He could have said, yeah, I would, but I've got to do this and I won't be able to. But he left his house, got in his car, drove, I think 10 or 12 miles to get there to stand and, if nothing else, try to keep the rain off the fella that crawled under the car. And I'm not talking just laying down on a wet ground.
No,
I'm talking the water was rolling under the car.
Yeah, no, he was
and
down
he's
there for a
basically
while.
laying in a stream, trying to fix the car. So this is what I want you to get. If you see something, the choice you make, we're not here to tell you what choice to make. We're just, one of the things we're saying through all this is that choice you make will affect you and everybody else involved in some way, right, wrong, or indifferent. Right? I mean, because if we look at the next one, Buzz, what would you do if you heard a rumor about somebody that you know? What do we do then? Do we keep it to ourselves? Do we go and talk to them? Or do we do what most, in my opinion, the average human being does a lot these days? Hey, look, Facebook, but guess what I heard?
Well, I
Again,
mean,
I held up my phone, y'all, but I didn't drop it this time.
Obviously, we just have to gossip. I mean, we have to share it around behind their back If you can't tell, I'm being heavily satirical.
I hope you all can tell.
Heavily.
The ones watching will be able to see it, and I hope the ones that are hearing it can get it as well. All right, because I'm going to say it this way, and it goes with one of the other things that I did, whether it's a secret or a truth. All right, your words have a power to them. Your words have a power that can lift somebody up or can absolutely destroy somebody. Because for those of you that are not watching this on YouTube, you're not going to be able to see this. Has anybody ever told somebody a secret and then they used that secret against you and told everybody else? If so, you can raise your hand. And for those of you that can't see, or hear the wind of my quick reflexes of me raising my hand was up. Yeah. Right. Everybody was kung fu fighting, whatever.
There's some dude behind me.
Yeah, exactly. But there's been instances where I've told somebody a secret, but it doesn't stay a secret.
Well, see, I'm trying to think, but like the thing is, I don't have like a lot of just it's really important, type of. I don't really keep secrets. I don't really.
Well,
think
and
much.
and at the same time, for anybody that's listening, have you ever had somebody who found out a secret and decided they were going to use it against you? You know what I mean? Or and maybe it wasn't even intentional to hurt. It was like Bubsy said, "Hey, did you hear about so and so? Did you hear what they did?"
No.
And then when you come in, everybody's looking at you like, "What? How could you possibly?" So what would you do if you heard a secret? What would you do if you heard a rumor? What would you do if you heard a truth about somebody? Right? I mean, like, if you knew, and this is just an example, y'all. What would you do if you knew that somebody was messing up really bad? Maybe they were having an affair or something. I mean, like, if you see them at the mall, should you scream, "Hey, I know what you're doing"?
No,
because it may be the truth, but is that going to have the results that you want? That's what I'm getting at.
Obviously, you walk up to them and you punch them in the face. Yes.
Well, I'm not even talking about somebody that we know. I'm talking about if you find out information on somebody else. Even though it's the truth, guys, sometimes the truth has to be tempered with love. It has to be tempered with a little bit of patience. Because, Bubsy, would you agree with me? I say when you can tell the truth about somebody, but you can still destroy them?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and I think in a lot of situations, what gets a lot of people in the trouble is you don't ever actually talk to the person that this was about.
Oh, wait a minute. No, stop. Say that statement one more time. That's rumor, secret, or truth. Say that statement again for those that are sitting in the back seats.
The problem is that you never talk to the person it's about.
Exactly.
Ever.
The one person. The truly one person. See, I mentioned it. I think it was last week, Bubs. The game that we used to play as a kid called, or maybe it was something else, but, remember the game they used to call Chinese telephone, where you'd have a bunch of people in line and you would whisper a word at one end, and it had to go through all the different people to see what came out on the other end.
Oh, see, we just called it telephone.
Chinese telephone, is that what it says?
No, just telephone.
Just telephone? Okay. I always heard it. I don't know. But again, my age is a little bit different. But
we know.
And so is my brain, and it's old, and it malfunctions. So yes, I could be combining 10 or 12 different things at the same moment.
Probably.
But, yes. But anyway, when you hear something, or when, I won't say that when you, because that sounds like I'm pointing fingers at people out there, and I'm not. When we hear something, we don't know how many different renditions it's went through. Like if you get an email that's been CC'd at work, you don't know how many other people it's been through, before you. Gosh. Or if you get a copy of a memorandum or something, you don't.
Oh, and wait.
Go ahead.
Also, speaking of work emails, stop reply alling to an all employee email. I don't need to know. Like if it says, "Hey, contact me." Okay.
I think Bubsy's a lot like me. I don't think he likes group emails or group text either one.
Like I get sending an all employee email to tell somebody about a situation. Okay, situations are important. Situations need to be handled. Okay, but usually, unless it has to do exactly with the whole situation, and yes, I'm
Yeah.
saying situation this way because I can, and I want you to pay attention.
And
Okay.
he's weird.
Yes, it's not, that's an obvious. Okay, but see, I'm saying it wrong, so you'll listen. But the situation, unless it covers the whole situation, I don't need to know.
Okay. I need somebody to do me a favor, if you would, please.
I'm just saying.
Whether it's on one of the podcast platforms or YouTube, somebody comment how many times he said situation. I want to say.
Also, spell situation. I'm not talking situation.
Yeah.
Spell
Yeah.
situation.
Situation. Yeah.
Situation.
And these, and as he continues to say it, that counts. Add it into your number when you leave your comment, please.
Oh gosh.
Well, but and that's the thing. I mean, let's be honest. You
Oh,
know,
we need to
it's,
count for how many. Let's be honest, there are.
Oh, I say that a lot.
You do. That's what I'm saying.
I say that a lot, and I say that a lot in everyday conversation.
You see,
And part of the reason, and in case anybody wonders, it is kind of just a frame of reference, or it's kind of the way I speak. But, well, we said we'd be real. A lot of times people will accuse me, and I have been accused a lot, of not being honest or being slightly dishonest. And I think that's where I picked up the habit of saying, let's be honest. Now, that also being said, everything. I've also been told, and people get told about me, that if you don't want his opinion, don't ask.
That's
because he's going to give you his honest opinion. But
yeah, that's very true. Like, if I don't want to know, I'm not going to ask anymore.
Yeah, I don't tend to pull a whole lot of punches, guys. And I know I say that phrase a lot. And it's part of who I am, and I love you all, and I apologize, but that don't mean it's going to stop.
I apologize for who I is.
So let's do this. Let's move on to the next one.
Oh.
What would you do if you knew, and I picked this one specifically because of this week. What would you do if you knew someone who hurt you or lied to you needed your help?
Oh, it depends.
Okay.
Oh, it depends.
I'm curious. I want you to expound. I want to hear your thoughts on this, and then I'll share mine.
Well, I think it obviously depends on how I guess fresh the hurt is.
Okay.
To an extent, because I don't know about you, but like if I'm hurt, I'm not gonna talk to you, and like don't talk to me, because I'm not gonna answer. But it also depends on like how bad of trouble are you in, how bad did you hurt me, how recent it was. Because like I'm not saying that like if you hurt me, I'm never going to give you another chance. But I'm also not saying that I'm going to immediately be okay or in a good state of mind to deal with you in any situation, even if it's a good situation.
I got you. So, do you think there is ever a point that you would help somebody who hurt you or lied to you or lied about you?
Yes.
Even. Okay.
Now, I also think that varies, like I said, because time theory.
Okay. Well, now I'm going to say this, and I'm not discounting what you say because I do agree. But you know me, my brain works a little bit different.
We know.
And anybody that's heard any of me talking any straight for in any of these podcasts, that's kind of a duh. But see, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. But my question that I ask myself is, and this is where I end up probably more times than not putting myself out there for people who not everybody else will do that for, is am I going to allow this person or that person or this situation or that situation define who I am as a person? You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to let simply because they did what they did, it's not going to affect me enough to keep me from being me. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thing. And, you know, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. Bubsy knows the story. We had some people years ago that really just kind of came out, went after our family bad, right? I mean, just, talked about us like we were, lower than dirt, called us all kinds of different names, tried to say we were this or that and the other. And a few years later, a situation came up and we ended up helping these same individuals. And people were like, I don't know how you can do that. I'm like, well, I'm not going to let them define who I am and when and where I'm going to help somebody. All right. Now, it may not change anything about them, but me not being me will change everything about me. All right. That's all I'm saying is if someone hurts me or lies to me or lies about me, am I going to be hurt and unhappy? Oh my gosh. Right. I mean, let's be, again, I almost said it again, Bubsy. I almost said the phrase and I caught myself.
You're trying to keep your numbers down, bruh.
No, I don't care. I really don't. But I caught myself and I stopped it but see, the thing about it is I have fought depression and anxiety for a long time. And, again, just being straight, I still fight it. And if I'm not going to be me, then I won't know who I am. And that just feeds the anxiety and the depression. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So part of my makeup, part of who I am, part of the way my brain works.
You wear makeup?
Is to help people. Right? Say that again.
You wear makeup?
Occasionally. Can't you tell? You don't get skin like it's by accident, boss. I'm just saying.
I put on some makeup to look better on camera.
But guys and gals, this is another one of those situations that I'd like to hear your opinion. Because I don't want somebody else to decide who I am. And I don't want you to allow somebody else to decide who you are. Now, I'm not saying that what they said or did was
correct.
Okay. I'm not saying that it was good, nice, or whatever. But what I'm saying is what they did should never, ever define who we are. That's what I'm saying. What do you think, Bubsy? Am I way off?
No. And like I said, I think it's all like a timing thing. Like, I don't know about you, but there's obviously been some people who, not just the family, but have also said some things about us, or me specifically, that were vastly untrue. Any person who knew me was okay, but anybody who was not in my family, that's a callback. That's a callback. Anybody who wasn't in the family begin to question.
Oh, stop right there for just 1 sec.
Begin to question.
For those of that have been here all the podcasts, drop it in the comments. What episode was he talking about? Right there.
That's a callback.
All right, go ahead.
But and that's the thing about rumors is there's always two sides to every story usually. In a lot of cases, there's probably actually three. There's what one person says, and what actually happened. There's usually probably three. Somewhere
in the middle is generally the truth.
So I am not saying that I'm perfect or whatever, but people will question anything that happens. And you have to prove them wrong. And I'm not saying you have to openly talk about it, but you have to live your life how you have, being who you are, and let that prove it.
See, that's the thing right there, guys. You have to continue to be who you are. Because if somebody attacks you, if somebody lies about you, and then comes to you for help, I'm just going to say it this way. Whatever the case may be, whatever you do, quite frankly, it might be used as ammunition against you again. If you help, they're going to be like, oh, I don't know why they're doing this. I didn't want them to be around me in the first place.
Like,
but if you don't help, it could be, well, see, I told you they were a terrible person. They went, right? It doesn't matter. But we have to be true to ourselves and true to who we are.
Yep.
You know, you all know my background. I've mentioned it numerous times. I believe that everyone on this planet was created for a purpose. I believe everyone was created uniquely for a purpose. And all too often, we allow people and situations to change who we are, or we change for people and situations so that we'll be involved in something. So if somebody comes at you and you change, it's not the fact that they won. It's just the fact that we lost. You know, we lost a piece of ourselves, even if it's just for a minute. We've lost a piece of ourselves. All right, Bubsy, what should we do if we knew something bad was going to happen? You know, do we think that people would listen to us, or would they think we're a little bit?
So are we talking like a Chicken Little situation here?
Yeah, let's just go as far fetched as possible. Let's do a Chicken Little situation.
Bro, the
What do we
sky's
do if we
falling.
know something bad's going to happen, but we don't think anyone would listen?
What is it that people say? Like, speak your truth or whatever.
Yeah.
Live your truth.
Well, I mean, you know, it's one of those hard situations, though, right? I mean,
Mhm.
if we don't think that it's going to matter, why should we bother?
Well, that's the
see what I'm
thing,
saying?
though. Like, who does it matter to? If it matters to you, then yes,
Come on.
do your thing, rock your roll.
But what if we say nothing and the one person that it would matter to doesn't get the information? So you guys, big questions. If y'all haven't figured this out yet, the beard loves big questions. You know, Bubsy and I have told you numerous times that we overthink everything. And this is the way my brain works. It's the what if kind of scenarios. It's
Welcome
like,
to the Overthunk podcast.
yeah, the Overthunk podcast. That might be another one we start later on.
So
It's Overthunk. Yeah.
so here we are talking about the time theory. It's been overthunk for millennia.
But, you know, it's like, you know, there's the thing that people throws around that says, you know, well, you know, about freedom of speech. I'll just throw it out there like that. You can't scream far in a crowded movie theater. You can if there's a fire, right? I mean, you shouldn't just scream something to try to initiate a panic. But there are times when we need to speak up because it's important. You know, and it may, again, like Bubsy said, it may just be important to you in the moment. But if you know
Or
and you
important to
know,
somebody in the moment.
yeah, if you know what you know and you're knower, that's the way I'll say it. If you know what you know that you know that you know and you're knower, and it's important to you, then you have to say it.
I think my knower malfunctions.
Sometimes I think all of ours do, to be quite honest with you.
My knower has
So,
malfunctioned.
and I don't want to beat this. Like I said, I don't want to beat it to death. My goal with this one, guys, I'll be honest with you. I thought this one up. Bubsy's had such a busy week, and this is just the way my mind has been working this week. And so you guys are helping me get it out, but the more you reply, the better it'll be for me and you, because I want to see what you think about this. So,
Yeah. And like we said, we may be the caffeinated podcast, but the thing about caffeine is it just stimulates our brain to say exactly what we're thinking and feeling, okay?
yeah, I mean, you know,
We're
we
speaking
share,
our truth.
whether it be funny or silly or crazy or whatever, you know,
Or
you
somewhere in
guys are
between.
getting, you know, it's funny when we talk about caffeine, right? Whatever it is, guys, you're getting the unfiltered us. You know,
Ew.
and some days it percolates all week long. Oh, another coffee reference. Yes. All right. So
I don't know
The
about
goal
you,
is,
but
guys, is-
I don't like the taste of beans in my mouth.
even chocolate covered espresso beans,
Yeah, not really. It's
I don't know.
too,
I kind of like them.
it's too
But anyway.
chalky.
But again, I just want to put this in here, if nothing else, just to kind of take it off a little bit. My goal is, like I said, this week is just to help you think a little bit, or maybe to get you to think a little bit.
We'll do the overthinking for you. Okay? We shall be your brain process, okay? We shall think.
Hey, that's what we'll do. We'll start a business called Overthunk. Don't worry your brain, and we'll do the thinking for you.
Oh my gosh. Well, it's like kids will send us in like reports. We'll give them all the information, but they still have to write the report.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, here you are.
Don't wear your brain out thinking. Send it to us. We'll do the thinking for you. Overthunk.
Overthunk.
I don't know. I kind of
Here
like
at
it.
Overthunk,
But-
we pride ourselves on our ability to overthink every situation.
Should you date him? Should you date her? Let us tell you. Yeah. See, we'll go forever, guys, if we don't stop. But again, I'm just trying to get you. I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there, and I'm hoping you guys are thinking. Because if you're like me, sometimes somebody has to throw something else at me to get me to think about to get me out of my own head. That's all I want to say. All right, so Bubsy, what would you do? This is
I was
if you
gonna go for
found
another joke.
portion. Okay, go ahead. I'll wait.
Well, you gotta think. Well, I mean, here's the thing. Did you catch what I said? You gotta think. Overthink.
I like it. I like it.
See, here at Overthink, our business model has been overthunk. We're prepared for any situation.
Oh,
Okay, great. Now I'm gonna.
if we can't think of it, neither can you.
Oh.
Oh, okay. So anyway,
Oh.
we'll go forever, like I said, guys. But what would you do if you found something? Say you
Buried treasure.
found somebody's wallet and it had $2,000 cash in it. What would you do?
Take it to the police station.
Okay. What else? Anything else besides that?
No, I just take it to the police station.
Would you try to contact the people yourself? Maybe.
Probably
Excuse
not.
me. You know, I heard a story a while back. A gentleman went to the bank to get out cash that was going Christmas shopping. Right. And it's been a little bit. But he got in his car. He left to go into the store to buy the Christmas presents for his children and all that stuff. And when he got there, the money that he had taken out of the bank was not there. He could not find it. He searched his car, all this stuff. And he thought, great, I'm out all this money. He said, there's no possible way that somebody would have turned that money in because it was all cash. I mean, there was no receipt to it. There was, he just had it in an envelope. No way of
Use
knowing
a
where it came
debit
from.
card.
Right. Right.
Lo-
But for whatever
loses
reason,
the debit card.
yeah, that would be my luck. That's what would happen to me for sure. So he decides, hoping beyond hope,
Ow.
he decides to go back to the bank just to see. And the funny thing is, somebody had turned in the envelope. There was not $1 missing from what he'd taken out of the bank. So he did a little research and found out that a 15-year-old boy had gotten out of his mom and dad's car to go in the bank with him, found the envelope, and then turned it in. So what would you do if you found something that doesn't belong to you? What would you do if you found something that there's no way of identifying? Because again, there was no identifying things in the envelope. I mean, it was still at the bank parking lot, so he knew it had come out of the bank, but he could have stuck it in his pocket. There would have been no way of anybody knowing that he had it or where it went to. But again, it's one of those scenarios that if we do that, nobody else may not know, but we do. I don't know about y'all, but that kind of stuff would mess with my head.
So what you're
Again,
saying?
Overthinking.
So what you're
right?
saying is that I can't go search for buried treasure?
No, you can search for buried treasure.
But
Just-
are you
well-
saying I have to turn in the buried treasure?
Depends on where it's buried, I guess.
What if it's buried on my property?
I don't know. So what do you think, Bubsy? If we find something, I mean, I'm sure we've all heard the statement, finders, keepers, losers, weepers, right?
That's only in regards to buried treasure.
Well, no, I mean, I'm being serious a little bit. Do we have a responsibility to try to find out where something goes or whatever it is? You see what I'm saying?
Well, and see, and I don't know. There's a lot of situations where I don't think you can always find out where it goes,
Mhm.
but I think you also have to ask. So, like, if you find something out, like in a parking lot, you're gonna check the stores. You're gonna go to their counter, be like, "Hey, this was dropped here. Do you know of anything that's going? Has anyone come in and asked?"
Well, I get and see, and that's the thing. I agree. I think that's what I would do. I agree that I think that that's what you would do. But I wonder,
That's because I'm
with
your
our listeners
kid.
and stuff, do you think that that would be the norm?
Now, how?
Do you think
Question.
everybody would go, I found money, I'm turning it in?
Question. How many times do you have to ask first, though, before you get to keep it?
Well, if I remember the way it used to be, if you turn something into the police department, and I'm not sure how they did it, but they would try, if there was no other information, they would try to find the owner if at all possible. But if you turned it in after 30 days, or it might have been 60 days, I don't know. It's been a while. But after a certain amount of time, what you found became yours, if nobody claimed it. So, I mean, there's always the possibility that you would get what you found anyway. I guess what I'm doing, we're talking about somewhat character traits, or
I just
I
thought
don't want
about
to say
something.
moral decisions today, but you know, our decisions matter. The choices that we make define who we are.
I just
All
thought
right.
about something.
Okay.
Okay, cell phones, right? You lose a cell phone. Obviously, the person can't unlock it to call somebody, like searching mom, dad on their contacts. You know the emergency contact button that works whether or not it has a SIM card in it or whatever? Or you can call whatever?
Or you can
Wha-
call 911. Yeah.
Right. Why can't it have like a saved emergency contact list? Like when you fill out like a form or anything, or like a doctor's, or like even where places you work, there's always, here is an alternate contact or emergency contact. Why can't you put that into a phone where you can call without a SIM card?
I don't know.
Like if
Here's a
someone
question
finds your
that-
phone, hit emergency contact. Ooh, mom,
Well,
click.
Here's the question that I have, and if somebody knows, please let me know. If you do lose your cell phone and it does have your SIM card in there, but they can't unlock it, but you can still make an emergency call. If you dial 911, doesn't it bring up the name and the number of the person whose cell phone it is?
Sometimes.
See, I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure that that's what it does.
Well,
I'm
it
not
would.
sure that's how that particular part of the thing works. So you know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, whoever answers the phone call would be able to see it. You wouldn't, but they would.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it would be a way to find it if you wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it, you know,
Yeah, but here's the thing. Would they also get mad at you for calling 911 for this?
probably. But you could take it down to the police department or whatever
Wait, could you call like
and do it in
411?
front of them. I mean,
Could you call like 411 and get the number maybe? Where it's like a non-emergency thing?
I don't know. See, and
I'm just-
that's the whole thing, guys. We're just
We're overthinking.
yeah. You see, this is the process. This is what gets us in trouble when we have conversations amongst ourselves.
We are
You
the
know,
overthinkers.
You know, my wife, you know, his mom will be like, "Why are you all still talking about this?" And we're like, "What?
Two
Why
and a
wouldn't we
half
be?
hours later, 2.5 hours later.
Why wouldn't we be?" It's just the way the process works. you
We're
know, it's
not
called
the Avengers. We're the
CHAOS.
overthinkers.
chaos. You know,
We are not the Avengers.
So-
We are the overthinkers.
that's it. Yeah, we're gonna have to get a T-shirt made over.
We are not Time Lords. We are the overthinkers.
But
Oh,
you know, and I think I don't think it got too awful deep, Bubs, and I don't want to bring it down too deep, you know. But if you want to do the same thing, you know, we talked about a rumor, secret, or truth. You know, it's kind of like, what if you found out something you weren't supposed to know about somebody? You know, what if you found out some weird information? What would you do?
he
What would I do?
has a third nipple.
Well, that
I
could
don't
be
know.
interesting information to some people. That's all I'm saying.
As long as he can pull off a party trick with it, that's all that matters, okay?
There you go. Right. That's kind of like, anyway, I saw a guy on,
My party trick
Penn and
just used to
Teller's,
be Elmo.
you know, Fool Us or whatever,
Oh, I love that
you
show.
know, where he somehow made his nipple disappear. I'm not sure how he did that, but it was
I-
hilarious.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know exactly who you're talking about. He looks like a really
He's
scruffy
crazy
guy.
good, right?
He's a really scruffy guy. Have you seen his cigarette routine? The one where he does with the
Yes.
cigarette?
Yes.
I need to. Okay.
So
This week on
And-
the Caffeinated Podcast TV recommendation list, we have Penn and Teller's Fool Us, Doctor Who.
It's pretty neat. Some of these guys are really good, man. Some of these guys are really good. But so Bubsy, let's kind of pull it in. Let's kind of finish it off.
Let's condense it.
So what would you do if you chose wrong?
Cry.
Where do we go from there?
Cry.
Now, here's what here, I'm going to say this. I was talking to somebody and he goes, well, what's the context? You know, whatever the situation is, whether it's something you saw, something you heard, something you knew, something you found. I mean, it's all possible that there's a context to it, right?
Yep.
You know, if you saw somebody tackling a kid, there may be a reason. Okay. It could be that they've lost their minds and they're trying to hurt a kid, or it could be the kid was getting ready to run into the street and the only way to stop him was to tackle him.
Either that or they're playing full contact football without padding.
Or something like that, you know, or, you know, again, there's always context to every situation. And the problem that we're going to have most of the time, in my opinion, is this. You don't have the time in every situation to decide what you would do to find out the context before you make a decision as to what you're going to do.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes you just have to jump
Trust
into
your
the situation. And because of that, there are going to be those times when we are wrong.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes you just got to trust your gut and go.
Yeah. But what do we do if we're wrong? You know, and just do the other side of the coin. What do we do if we're right?
Well, if
Hey,
you're
yay
wrong,
me, I'm a hero.
well,
or
if you're
whatever,
wrong,
you know what I'm saying?
apologize first off.
Right. Right?
Second of all, cry. Third, apologize some more.
You know, there is, I
Fourth,
heard it
face the
said once,
consequences.
you can recover from a mistake, but it's kind of hard to recover from doing nothing. Right?
Mhm.
If you do something and you make a mistake, you can recover from that. I mean, you might get a lot of flack for it. People might yell at you and scream at you and all that stuff. But I'm going to say this. If you've ever been in that situation, or if you ever end up in that situation, if you believe in your heart of hearts, like Bubsy said, if you're trusting your gut and you're getting involved in a situation and you believe you're right, then you're doing the best thing that you can in that situation, period. Now,
You're living your truth, or whatever I said earlier. I don't know.
there you go. There you go. You know, so be happy that you did your best. Walk out of there with your head up. Doesn't mean that you won't have to apologize.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, this is what I saw, dude. Sorry.
Doesn't mean you won't
know,
have to face
I
any
was wrong.
consequences.
You know, I mean, and I don't want to be political. I don't want to be divisive or anything like that. But, you know, an example of this to me is a lot of the videos that are on YouTube and Facebook and all the other places, TikTok and all this other stuff. You see police officers, and because I support police officers, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up, in an altercation with somebody, and everybody's yelling at the police officer who's in this altercation, wrestling with this guy. Don't do this. Why are you doing that? Well, he's trying to do his job. But if you'll notice when you watch these videos, for the most part, guys, you don't see the beginning of the altercation. You only see the fight, or you only see the tumbling around on the ground, and you only see all the people yelling at the police officer, or this, that, and the other, or whatever the case may be. You know, it's just
That's
like
the bad part about everything in this world, is that the things that are shared and put out there usually aren't the full story.
it's just a little piece of it. But just like what I just said about whatever situation, don't make a decision based on that little snippet of information, because you don't have the context.
I mean, it can also be the flip side in that
Oh, absolutely.
theory, you know.
Absolutely. I'm just saying, either way, we don't have the full context.
Mm-hmm.
But just like, and again, I'm using it just as an example, you know, just like a police officer who has about a second to make a decision, right, as to how to get involved in something, just like a firefighter who has that decision. I know a guy that did this off duty, driving down the road, saw a house fire. He said, he calls, he says, I need engines here. There's a fire, da, 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 da. He had maybe 3 or 5 seconds after that to make a decision as to what he was going to do Was he going to wait on everybody else to show up, or was he going to try to go in and see if anybody was in the house? He made the decision to enter the house, ended up with second-degree burns in a house that was empty. But he didn't know the house was empty. What he did, he made his decision based on the information he had. It's a home. People live there. There could be somebody inside, and he took it upon himself. He chose what he would do, right?
Yeah.
So once you know the context, when he says, well, I got second-degree burns for running into an empty house. Well, dude, why in the world would you run into an empty house?
Didn't know
Well,
it
it
was
ain't
empty.
like he knew it was empty in the
Yeah.
You know, if he'd known it was empty, he would have stood there and said, well, let's wait for the fire engines. They got all the, whatever.
Takes out a stick and some marshmallows.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry,
I mean, it's
that's
just,
probably not that, but I'm trying to be funny where we're getting a very serious tone. But
yeah, I know. No, and no. Well, I said the same thing when our car caught on fire. If I'd known it was still
Oh
on
my
fire when I
God.
get there, I would have brought marshmallows.
we haven't
So-
talked about that at all, actually, on the podcast.
No, yeah,
Uh,
years ago, we had a car, and we really liked the car. And it's not really a car; it's a little SUV. It was a hot Toyota Highlander. And the wife drove it to work. And a few hours after she gets to work, I get a phone call, and I'm like, "Hello," and she's like, "Hello." I'm like, "How are you?" She goes, "Car's on fire."
what?
What?
Repeat last
Did-
message,
huh?
please.
Say that one more time, right? And she goes, the car caught on fire. And again, this is one of those scenarios, y'all, where I was trapped at home. So I have to call my mother-in-law. She takes me over to work. We get there. There's still fire kind of coming off of it. The fire department just got there. But the situation is some lady that was where she worked had taken her car to some garage. She had brought it back, pulled up, parked next to ours. And when she went inside, her car caught on fire and decided it wanted to catch our car on fire.
Yeah.
So, it's just one of those situations. And it is kind of the same thing. When you have the context, what do? We were laughing, we were cutting up, we were making jokes, and people were like, I can understand how you are acting,
Well,
this
first of
way
all,
about this situation. It's a car. Nobody died. Nobody got hurt.
plus, second of all, it's like, what else are we supposed to do?
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I can get down and cry and go, no, but it's not, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
But
I apologize for the ugly face I just made, but it was really
no,
funny.
you're fine. You're fine. You're fine.
I'm not apologizing to you. You have to see this face
There
anyway.
you are. You should. I have to see you. I mean,
I just said that joke. You can't take the joke. I said it. I said it. It's my joke. Okay,
Yeah, no.
my joke.
anyway, but the simple fact of the matter is this, y'all.
That was my joke.
If whatever the case may be, if it's, if you're presented a scenario of what would you do? The one thing that I know beyond anything else is the situation, the scenario, whatever the case, whatever you want to call it, cannot define who you are.
Right.
You can't let somebody else or something define the person that you're going to be. Bubsy, help me out. I'm trying to remember something.
We can overthink, but we can't remember.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that weird?
My brain is too
But-
full of useless information.
I'm trying to figure how it went, but I can't remember all of it. But the last part of it is that character is what you do, or when nobody's watching. Integrity and character is who you are when nobody's paying attention and you're still being you.
Yeah.
Right. A lot of the situations, and believe me, guys, we know. And if you've got some more what you would do situations that you want us to, please comment, like, share, put them out there so that we can share them with everybody. I want to hear everybody's stuff on it. But we kind of have to go into every situation remembering who we are, right? If I found a lot of money, do I need money sometimes? Well, who doesn't? But it's not my money, so I can't, I'm not going to let what the need in the moment decide who I am today, tomorrow, and from then on, because again, we may not get caught, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still got to live with it.
I know.
Yeah, because it kind of goes to that saying too that goes, no matter where you go, there you are. You might get away from everybody else, but we never get away from ourselves.
Yeah.
We're always there. So don't let anybody or any situation decide who you are. Matter of fact, I will take it so far, Bubsy, to say this. Make up your mind who you're going to be before you get in a situation. Well, what am I going to do if I find money? This is what I'm going to do. What am I going to do if I see this or that, or if I hear this or that?
Don't be reactive.
Yeah, don't be reactive. Be proactive. Make up your mind. And, you know, if you want to put it like this, you don't send a soldier into battle without a battle plan and just go, here, go. Even though it do seem like that sometimes, I'm afraid, right? You know, but you've got people who make battle plans. Make a battle plan for who you want to be and how you're going to be. Don't try to fit yourself into every situation, but be you in every situation.
Yeah.
Be who you are. Like he said, be the truth that you are. Be the person that you are, no matter what comes your way, no matter what anybody says. That way, no matter what happens, you can walk away with your head high, knowing that you did the very best that you could.
Yep.
So what do you think, Bubs? Am I off base too far, or what do you think?
No.
He's giving one word answers because I stole his joke.
Yes. I think, what was I going to say? Gosh. I think you rounded third. I think you got a little bit of a lead off. And I'm ready up at bat, like, okay, let's do it.
All right. So, guys, I tell you what, that's going to be my closing thought for the day.
I think we're going to hit it home, baby.
And if you want to get in contact with us, leave a comment on the YouTube channel.
Check out our new business, Overthunk.
Yeah, check out the new business, Overthunk. Not a real business. We're just saying.
The Caffeinated Podcast doing business as Overthunk.
Yeah, right. And reach out to me on TikTok. It's the THE Caffeinated Beard. It's also on Instagram, the Caffeinated Beard. You can get to us there. You can get to me there. And Bubsy will give you his in just a minute.
No.
But again, guys, we appreciate you. If you've been here this long and you've listened to every one of them, and for those that have been, I'm just going to say this. I've had one or two that goes, when's the new podcast coming out? I can't wait. I'm addicted. We love you. It's awesome. It inspires us. It makes us want to do better. And I thank you for that. So if you've been here this long, you know what I'm about to say. From this time to the next time, welcome to the family.
Well, he's given the socials. We've done the closing thoughts. I guess this is my time to wrap it up and talk about how he still stole my joke. But
I'll
yes,
get you again next time.
Overthunk is not a current business. Don't take our name, please. Thank you. But my name has been Bubsy. He has been the Beard. My socials are ITSBUBBZI. That's it's Bubsy. That's everything from TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. The YouTube is Bubsy, and also the podcast. Obviously, check us out wherever you watch your podcasts. You can find us on YouTube if you want to catch the video forms and look at the random faces I make while staring at him when he talks. Also, we hopefully, when everything settles and like I said, everything is back to a normal work schedule, hopefully we'll be picking up some podcast clips on TikTok as well for the funny moments.
Yep.
But
coming soon.
This has been the Caffeinated Podcast. Bye, guys.